Remember when Mitchell Musso made that god-awful cover of Standout for Disney Mania 7? I always knew that there was something special about a Goofy movie, especially hearing that story of the panel from D23, the 20th anniversary, where they had over 1,000 people attending that panel, which they were not even anticipating it, which this movie's just amazing.
Still look as young as you did back then.
Oh, thank you. You're lying, but
someone needs to get to the eye doctor.
But in all honesty, how are you guys enjoying Denver?
Very good. Very good. Had a wonderful day today.
It's great.
Yes.
It's pretty interesting when you go to your hotel room and they have canned oxygen. It's like, oh, great. And then you get, it's Colorado has weed, so you get a bunch of weed and oxygen at a match, and then boom, you're living. Yeah.
I didn't get weed in my hotel room.
You got a much better dealer thing in your room there.
Absolutely. Okay, so before we begin, I'd like to start off my panels and segments with something called Giving Flowers. And that is my way of saying thank you from the bottom of my heart, all of our hearts, especially for doing all of what you've done before, during, and after the film. For making our childhood so special, even bearable for so many that had broken homes. So thank you seriously so much, and being the light when we needed it in the darkness. So thank you.
Thank you.
That's cool. Did you know we did all that?
I did not know we did all that.
I didn't know we did that either.
Okay. Awesome. And I do have one question. Before we fully begin. And that's, when you see all these lovely faces, smiling faces looking at you, what does it mean to you when you come to a convention and knowing that you made them so happy and we're the reason why we are technically here and nostalgia is what it is today?
I have no trouble talking until this. You were very kind, and all of you are kind, to thank us. Thank you. That's very kind of you to thank us. But respectfully, come on, man. You guys learned early. You watched the show. Your parents said, oh, you're going to watch cartoons, but you're going to watch. You learned our names. You continue to watch. You said, oh, Jason Marsden is in the Jim Cummings, the same guy, this Darkwing is. And then you sometimes fly to see us. We have people who come from Canada with the exchange rate, and they come here, and then they rent a hotel, and they buy gas for, where we come, it's $1.50 a gallon more. But you rent a hotel, you rent a car, you stand in line, you buy a ticket to tell us thank you? I mean, you could have and we all know this, you could have a script written by Jesus and $20 million of Jim's money, which he has under the front seat of the Bentley. And if nobody watches, it's a fancy tax write-off. So honest to God, all of us, we say it in our own way, but thank you. We got nothing without you.
Round of applause for yourself.
Thank you so much. And without you guys, a Goofy movie wouldn't have made it 30 years. It wouldn't be the popular movie it is now. It's all due to you. It's all due to the fans. You make it all. And I'm very honored to be here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up watching cartoons. I grew up, Saturday morning with a bowl of cereal, listening to a lot of people that are here. Crazily, I grew up and I'm in the industry. It still blows my mind. So your excitement, I recognize, I get it. And I try to give it back to you twofold, because I completely understand. I don't take it for granted. And, I thought you had to be in a band to tour the country. But you just have to be in a Goofy movie, so thank you guys.
Thank you. Man, I was just going to say that. He always does this to me. Oh, man.
Well, yeah, I was just going to say that, what they said, but also I totally understand how you feel because I was at a con that was close to LA. I think it was the Pasadena con, and Marty Krofft was at the table next to me, and I grew up watching all of his stuff, HR Puffin stuff, and oh my God, Banana Splits. When I was a kid, that was the bomb. That was everything, you know. And I was like, I was starting to get sweaty palms and stuff, and I'm like, I know exactly how every one of you feels, because I just walked over and I said, I gotta tell you, Mr. Croft, I actually did say, Mr. Croft, I worshipped your shows when I was a kid, and it was the same thing. You were my childhood. You were everything. When I was either home with the parents or home alone, it was like, you gave me so much joy and laughter, and thank you so much. And he said, what is wrong with you? But it's that, you know, it's that feeling, and we all get it. So thank you so much.
So much. So, moving on along, I would say, when it comes to the Goof movie and the documentary itself, seriously, round of applause. That documentary was so good. How many of you have actually seen the documentary? Awesome.
It's pretty wild watching, turning back, and I've had the privilege of knowing these stupidly gifted gentlemen forever. And it's wild watching it. We all got, like, first of all, I was like a cross between a Q-tip and a Q-tip. But knowing that I had at one time darker hair, and I had a hockey mullet because I'm a hockey player, and I had my hockey mullet in the thing. Yeah. It's great.
It's incredible. Yeah, it was weird. I didn't know that they were filming me. I had no idea until I saw the early footage. And it's me 30 years ago. My God! And I was a blonde, not a white-haired guy, you know, and stuff. It was insane to see, and thanks to Kevin Lima, who kept all of this footage and kept all of this, because Disney didn't, and he had it all, and it made its way into this documentary, which I learned a lot about the movie. I had no idea even went on. So, and as a voice actor, you kind of go in, you do your lines, you go home. A lot going on behind the scenes you learn about it.
A lot of Crayolas. A lot of Crayolas.
That was the first time I worked with you, I believe. I don't know if I met you, and I was so. When it was on the big stage at Disney. Yeah, with Doc Kane.
Yeah.
And I found this. I moved, so I'm covering all my collectibles. I still have the Darkwing Duck comic, the autograph for me, because I was such a big fan.
How cool is that?
Still am.
That's awesome. That'll be worth $25 now, maybe.
We'll find out. It's on eBay right now.
That's right. We'll find out.
Yes.
So, when it comes to the film itself, right? Did you guys, or looking back at it, did you ever expect it to become such a nostalgic cult classic as it has today?
I don't think I know that all of us have shows on which we work.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Wait a minute. All right.
When he talks like that, I apologize.
Anytime your dad, well, first of all, I used to take the piece out of Max because his old man's name is Goofy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not Larry or Dave or Bob, it's Goofy. But then I thought about my old dad, who's out of his fucking mind. And I didn't say the word because this is the happiest place on earth, but Dad, I'm telling you, man, I would drop you like a bad habit for a big pile of cheese. And, you know, but we've all worked on things and certainly had more than our share of work that has become arguably iconic, all of us. And you never know. You never know. Because it's a whole bunch of someone else's money. You're lucky enough to work. And like Billy said, you get done and you go. And you know that people are watching because we get more episodes. But until the ubiquity of Comic-Con, where now they're springing up like this on a 12-year-old, man, and they're everywhere. But until we got to come to these events, I know that I truly didn't understand the extent to which these characters connect with people. And all of us, 10 years ago, at the 20th anniversary, yeah, and I got your sweet wife, Jen, called me and said, hey, there's this thing down, Disney, as you guys know, have D23, right? So we went down there, there was this Goofy movie panel, and it was 1,000 people. And there were like a few hundred that were not allowed to get in.
You can see it it's on YouTube.
Oh my God, Tevin was there.
Tevin Campbell, yeah. It was an actual Powerline concert
so
in front of our
cool.
faces. Yeah.
Round of applause, everyone.
Right? Thank you. And then remind you, that was the 20th anniversary. So your question, at that moment, I remember looking at it. Did you guys have any idea how many people love this movie? I did not. Because it's not, these guys have been in a lot of big Disney, Lion King, all of that. By the way, forgive me, but I have to say, you guys are all stupid. My friend, our friend Jimmy Cummings, had the pleasure of knowing him forever, but when I always did, he was Ray the Firefly in The Princess and the Frog. And
the women love a man with a big back punch. You know that,
right? I mean, we are all good at our jobs, but to get that Cajun dialect, impossible. Jimmy.
Yeah, well, you know I cheated. I was a deckhand on a riverboat in New Orleans. I mean,
yeah, because you came from Youngstown, Ohio, which is what you do.
So it's a logical career path.
Yeah.
You work in a steel mill for a while. Check.
Right.
Moved to New Orleans and become a deckhand on a riverboat. Step on the back of an alligator, almost get killed. Check.
Right.
You know, yeah, good research. I had no idea I was researching this at the time. But then, but they said that they needed a real Cajun accent, and everybody, not to expand on it too much, but everybody thinks they talk like that, like they're from Alabama or somewhere, but they don't talk like that. No, that's not how they're gonna talk at you with their voice when they're speaking at you and you listening. That ain't it.
I mean,
and then I was also Leatherhead too.
Yeah, Leatherhead on Ninja Turtle. Right.
Man, you know I want to have me some turtle soup, yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
that's impossible. I can't do that at all. Then he sings a bunch of Randy Newman songs. Just kills it. But that was a Princess and the Frog, a big movie, right? So we don't, it's not like we're ashamed, you just forget. And on the way home, I remember calling my son, who was 30 at the time, he's now 40. I said, you guys ever watch Goofy movie? Talked to me like I was out of my mind. He said, yeah, probably half a dozen times a year. I had no idea. And here we are now, brand new swag, all sorts of new stuff being made. And like we said at the beginning, were it not for you guys, and often your parents saying, oh my God, we love this movie, you should watch it. We had no idea. So that's a long roundabout way of saying you never know. You just never know. And you're looking at a bunch of lottery winners. We've had more than our share of stuff that's stuck around.
I'd say we were the lottery winners, thanks to you guys as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I had an inkling that it was getting bigger all the time. I mean, people would always come up to me and say that was their favorite movie or, you know, favorite Disney movie. And I knew it had a lot more, you know, effect on the audience than I think Disney knew at that time. Absolutely. And so it felt like it had heart when I first saw the screenings and all of that. I said, God, this is good. It was charming. It had a lot of heart, and it just kind of kept growing. And thanks to you guys, it's now getting the acclaim that I think it should have had back in 1995. And thank you so much for that. I mean, people caught on. People knew. The reviewers didn't, but I think I don't even know if they watch all the movies. I think they speed through them and just, oh, what did so-and-so, what did Siskel and Ebert say? And, you know, you do a little thing. But they gave it 2 thumbs up. They were the first ones that I knew of, gave it 2 thumbs up. and yeah, I guess it's okay to say something good about this movie. And it just, because it wasn't a big A-list hit, you know, it wasn't Lion King. It was a little kind of, almost not independent film, but just kind of on the outside of the big main tent. And, but it just has kept growing and growing and growing until this week it was #1 on Disney Plus.
Round of applause, everyone. That's big.
Documentary is #2. And an extremely goofy movie was #8. So the first three of them were top 10.
Does that mean somebody owes us some money? Because
I'm betting on it.
Okay, so on that note, when you look back at the film, right, there were a lot of messages, whether it was the cultural significance of like the music itself. I mean, Powerline, right? Come on.
Yeah.
Like, round of applause, seriously, that's a big one. The music was great. Obviously the messages when it comes to like the father and son relationships being at the forefront, and obviously Roxanne, come on. But for you guys, right? When you look back 3 decades later, pretty much, why do you think that film, such a beautiful film as it is, resonates so heavily with fans that either A, grew up on it then, or now have kids and still watch it and carry that on?
Well, a Goofy movie had kind of its own circle of life. It's like people come up all the time and they'll say, you know, when I was a kid, I sided with Max. And I saw his point of view. Now I've got kids, I side with Goofy and I see his point of view. So people go through these emotions, and that was the hardest part for me, was adding those emotions that I'd never had to do before with Goofy, and you know, not just but actually real emotions. And we've talked about this before. Your favorite scene in the movie?
Scene in the movie, and it's always funny to say, is Goofy and Pete in the hot tub. Not from what you're thinking, but it was like, it's in a very cartoon movie called a Goofy movie. It's just a grounded conversation between two dads, and also a great illustration for those who want to pursue voice acting. I mean, like, these guys knocked it out of the park. Doing something zany, but bringing it down to a grounded performance, just to show the level. It's voice acting, But yeah, that's one of the reasons. I think that's another reason why people loved it. It was grounded in a lot of moments.
We had to add emotions that we never had to do to those characters.
And you will be pleased to know that Pete will never be nominated Father of the Year and give parenting tips. No parenting tips from Pete. I'm going to start right now by not giving you a parenting tip. Or wait, okay, here's one. That's it. Everybody's going, no, that's bad. Perfect. Thank you for getting that.
all right. Really quick, they won't say it because everybody here, well, we've all been kids. And a lot of us have been kids and parents. And we all have kids. And I think the big part is you can relate to that. Mom, don't drop me off here. Why, honey? It's snowing. I'll say, just drop me off here. God. And we all have to navigate that. We love our parents, sometimes we don't. And we love our kids, and sometimes we don't. It's really difficult to figure that out. And this movie had so much heart and charm. And let me tell you, these two boys right here, the way that they did figure out how to add that stuff to your characters was so powerful and so spot on. When you two guys are trying to figure out how to figure it out, it's some of the finest performances I have ever witnessed. And it is not just about the characters, and their performances are fantastic. And if you're a parent or a child, you watch that and go, I so lit there. And you guys absolutely lit it up. It's fantastic.
I give credit to our director, Kevin Lima, who
Round of applause, everyone.
yeah.
Wherever you are.
Who also followed up a Goofy movie with Tarzan and 102 Dalmatians and Enchanted. I mean, he's a great storyteller. And I found it difficult to be so mean to, because if I talked to my parents the way Max talked to his dad, I would have been smacked so hard. My parents did corporal punishment. But Kevin had our director had a tumultuous relationship with his dad, and he pushed me in that direction. I think he was trying to work that out for himself. But it needed to be that. It's hard to be mad. It's hard to be mean to Goofy, because Goofy's so awesome. He's just earnest. He's just his authentic self. Being Goofy, you know.
That's Dad is Pete. Dad is Pete. Jesus God. I'm still searching for the happiest place on earth, but my dad is a nut.
So, speaking of which, on that one, and this goes to PJ and Pete's relationship. They're a beautiful, dynamic, unique relationship. So we know that Pete and PJ, they're fun, but in contrast to Goofy and Max, Pete's a little bit more stricter, a little louder, but filled with love in its own way. How did you both approach capturing the unique father and son energy in comparison to Max and Goofy?
There you go.
That's the secret of it.
By the way, we were all fortunate enough to, you were in the Goof Troop. Right, okay. But I know that we were in Goof Troop, and
Yeah.
it was such a blast, because your wife was April Winchell, right?
Yeah.
And
Several
Nancy
times.
played your daughter, my sister.
Yes.
And so I had two other people who said, Jesus, Mom, and Pistol, would you just push him off a bridge or something, man? Because I'm just like, I'm doing my best. I just want to get to the leaning town of Giza.
Yeah.
But again, in that whole thing, you nailed the whole thing. It's really tricky to do a character that is largely loathsome.
Yes.
But you find something that is interesting and you care about the character, even if you don't like him. That's really difficult. And
Yeah.
again, Jimmy
He'll never be Father of the Year, but he gets the job done. But when he speaks, they listen. That counts, sort of. You said that about Mussolini. Yeah, there you go.
Have a tough day.
Do we have? Were we supposed to open this up to questions? Because I feel like we're neglecting somebody standing there. I don't know. It's an agenda. You got it? Okay, good. I was thinking we're forgetting somebody. She's sitting there.
Okay, awesome.
Okay.
All right. So this takes us into our next segment, actually. But before we fully go in there, Jeff Bennett. Now you are in the Goofy movie world, realm, lore. I love the film, extremely Goofy movie. What was that like, playing an amazing character?
Yeah, I was wondering why I'm here. I'm like, hey, maybe I'm not as goofy, but no, it was amazing, and I have to agree that I did not realize how much this whole genre and these movies have been accepted and taken off the way that they did. When I was doing this in Nike, it's funny because this was a character that was just like, I thought, man, he's an ass. This guy's an ass, and it's like sometimes it's harder to play characters you don't like. And I thought I would just want to knock this guy out. But it was an interesting challenge in that way, and I thought, how do I make him kind of interesting and somewhat comical and an idiot, it was well written in that way. But little did I know thanks to Jason and others, the memes that had come out of this character, and all the girls are giggling here on the front. And I was like, that was the thing, is like, I had no idea what evolves from TikTok and Instagram from things that you've done in the past. So, yeah, you behind this?
We had to explain to Jeff. So Jeff's character in the movie, there's this thing called shipping, and they have shipped his character and Max's character in like romantic, and it's completely taken over the internet for a while.
Okay, I think I just found the happiest place ever.
Yeah. I gotta say, the Gammas have done a whole lot of shipping. We're all shipped out. Yeah, apparently we're Maxley. We're all Maxley now.
Awesome. All right, perfect. So it takes us into our little mini game that we have for you guys, where basically I'm going to hand out these whiteboards, and we're going to have you draw your own characters the best you can within 1 minute, and we let the audience judge how well you've done. All right? All right, guys, so you guys are going to have 1 minute to draw your own character. The best you can from memory, no cheating whatsoever, okay? And I will tell you to go right about now. Not at all. All right, we are 10 seconds in. Who do you guys think will have the best drawing? Jason? All right, money's on Jason then. 30 seconds in, guys. All right. 20 seconds remaining. All right, approaching the 10-second mark. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We count as 3, you will turn it around, okay? 1, 2, 3. Turn it around, everyone. Oh my God! Wow. I'm sorry, I gotta record this, guys. Wow, okay. All right, so for Jeff Bennett, everyone, raise your hand. All right, for Jim Cummings, that's amazing. For Jason. For Bill Farmer. And Rob Paulsen. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for taking part in it. There is a meaning in all of this, and I will tell you. When it comes to animation as a whole, you need 2 big parts of the triangle, which is you need the animators and you need the creators and the artists. Without both, none of this exists. So round of applause, seriously. Artists, animators, all right, so we're gonna start taking questions, everyone.
Hey guys, you know me as Brandon. Hi. My question is, do you think Extremely Goofy movie should get the same recognition as a Goofy movie? Should Extremely Goofy movie get the same recognition as Goofy movie?
Yeah, the only factor about an extremely good, I would have loved to have some music. I love the music from the first one. That's the only thing that I miss.
Original songs for a Goofy movie, and there was more original, like, it's fun. I think they're both, they're okay in their own universes, for sure. Absolutely.
All right, second question.
You drew their picture, Jeff. You drew their picture.
So hi, I'm Jace. First off, I just want to say, just want to say first off, Goofy movie has been like one of my favorite movies ever since my dad showed it to me when I was a kid. It's, you know, father and son dynamics. I adore that movie so much, and I appreciate you guys, everything you've done for just in general. It just means so much to me. So I guess my question is just gonna be like, I guess I asked most of them, but like my question mostly is just if you guys weren't given the choice to do something like that, do you think it really would have had as much as, like, do you think culture as a whole would have changed if you guys didn't do a Goofy movie?
I delay in case I curse. Very interesting question. If I understand, like, if we the actors weren't the same actors in a Goofy movie, would it be different? Yes, I mean, it would definitely been a different dynamic.
Yeah, different dynamic.
If you saw the documentary, you know, they talk candidly how they considered, mistakenly, erroneously, to have Steve Martin do the voice of Goofy.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't do that.
How do you think that would have...
If Christopher Walken was going to be Pete.
Really?
Okay, I made that up, but
On the thumb.
I had you for a second.
It's all about it's the thumbs. It's all about thumbs, and gotta be under them. Would have been. I mean, it would have been. I don't know. Good. I love Steve Martin, but it would have been a completely different dynamic.
It wouldn't have been Goofy. It would have been Steve Martin. Different movie.
Yeah. You know, well, you guys are the reason that often with reboots, and in my case with Animaniacs, it was Mr. Spielberg who said, just so you know, Hulu, this is not about Liam Neeson being the brain and Russell Brand being Pinky. Probably not a good call anyway. But it was about Tress MacNeille, Jess Harnell, Maurice LaMarche, and Rob Paulsen. And the proof is in the pudding about this show too, because it's not about bringing in a movie star to get, to do the character. There's a reason that, these guys have been doing, especially Jimmy and Billy, my God, 37 or 38 years? Right. It's not about, it's not about saying we're going to bring Steve Martin and be Goofy. Everybody knows what Goofy sounds like. Why on earth would you do that? And I would reckon it's probably Kevin Lima who said, no, we don't want Steve Martin. God bless him. Because it's not we love Steve Martin. But Goofy is different. This is...
Round of applause, everyone.
They tried that with Christopher Robin. They had somebody else as the original, not as the original. They had somebody else doing Tigger. They had me doing Pooh, but they had somebody else doing Tigger, and it was terrible. And they saw it. They ran a test on it, and everybody went, ah! and the guy was a really accomplished actor. He just didn't sound like Tigger. He sounded like Rodney Dangerfield. Hey, Tigger, okay? Hoo, all right.
And everybody's different timing.
So anyway, but yeah, it speaks to that.
To add something to that, because this is a mutual admiration. The reason we know that we know that you guys know what you're talking about is I remember watching the trailer for Christopher Robin and seeing Jimmy, because he was in the trailer, and saying, "Oh my God, Jim, dude, if they ever make a Oscar for voice talent, honestly, that movie." Okay, a month later, the cover of Vanity Fair, it showed it had Ewan and Pooh, not Jim, but okay, and it said there is an Oscar-worthy performance in Christopher Robin, and it's not Ewan McGregor, and it was Jim.
I didn't win.
We all,
But it's a nice
you
thought.
guys make us feel like big stars because we know of the authenticity of the characters. That's what makes you laugh. That's what makes you cry. And when you do it at a high level, irrespective of whether they see your handsome face or they don't, it's acting is acting. And that's why these guys are that.
Amen to that, and thank you, Rob.
Absolutely. All right, time for two more questions.
Sorry, that's a little too loud. My name is Aiden Berkovich. Okay, so sorry.
I hope you didn't have to read that.
I didn't have to read that. It's just like I was so confident, and now I'm like, wait, now I'm on stage. It's a little nerve-wracking. Okay,
You demand.
okay. So like, real quick, what happened to Pen and Pistol? Like they had an opportunity to feature them in an extremely goofy movie, and they weren't in it. They didn't show up to Pete's Barbecue. And real quick, another question: what happened to Roxanne? Like, they didn't. I don't even think she was acknowledged in an extremely goofy movie. And in Mickey's Twice Upon a Christmas, who was this short-haired, emo-looking girl? Like, where was Roxanne? Where's Roxanne at, dude? Thank you. I appreciate you for having me ask a question.
That was a lot of questions. Anybody?
First one.
I think she was in the bathroom. Pretty sure.
And where was Roxanne?
Yeah.
I don't know. Either she went to a different school, rehab, Rob. Yeah, Rob thinks. Rehab. Or she finally was like, you're kind of a dick to your dad, and you lied to me. That wasn't cool. So maybe that. I don't know.
Yeah, we have no idea. Different time, different place.
Awesome. All right, we'll take two more questions.
She said no.
Hi, my name is Sophie.
Hi, Sophie.
Hi. And I was wondering, what was possibly one of the funniest things that ever happened while you guys were recording together?
Funniest thing that ever happened while we were recording together.
Oh my gosh.
Well, side note, you see, so for a Goofy movie, the first movie, Bill and I worked with everybody, every month over the course of a couple of years. For Extremely Goofy movie, I didn't see anybody. I didn't get to work with Jeff or Billy, and it took like 5 days. So for a Goofy movie, well, I don't know if I should say this, but we're all adults here. One of my favorite.
Taping this.
No, maybe I should.
Do it.
I know, right? I'll tell you all after the show. Just come on.
No, there's some.
I think the question was, has anybody seen Goofy naked? And the answer was, dude, who hasn't?
Yeah. Thanks for that save.
It was all fun and funny.
Oh yeah.
It was a lot of hard work. I remember, Bill had one of his lines was, "How many cups of sugar does it take to get to the moon?" And he must have recorded that 46 times. Not because he's terrible at it, but the question was how do you sing a line like that? So he explored every different way that you could say that coming from a deep sleep, and that, like, working that out was pretty
Yeah,
hilarious.
I think they took take number 2.
Yes.
So it's like you get a lot of wasted time. But yeah, you do lines over and over and over again. We did a lot of the dialogue together, and then we did it separately. And which ones they used in the movie, I'm not really sure.
Awesome. All right, one last question.
I actually have a question for Jeff.
There we go.
No hard feelings. I support the Maxley ship. But did you get to see? How did you come up with the voice for Bradley Uppercrust III? Did you get to see a picture of him first, or did they?
I did.
Kind of. Okay.
Yeah, they did show me a picture, and I was at first. I was because he was, Uppercrust III. I was thinking more in the northeast sort of, Mr. Howell kind of a thing. But I thought, what would that be like if we pulled it back and made him younger and tried to keep him very clipped, but stayed sort of, tried to keep him thinking that he was just sort of this really cool, sexy little dude. Little did I know what would happen with him online. So, and also, trying to just keep him being, he's the leader of this group, and he's trying to keep everybody in their place. So it was all kind of that mixed with a little bit of Michael Bell, which is interesting because Michael has this, he has this smooth coolness about him. It's like very light Trump. And, but not, no, I know, he would never want to hear that. So we'll edit that out for later.
Okay, Jeff, please, this is like it. They don't need to hear. This is like, please do that character as Chris.
Yeah.
Listen to this.
Okay, I want to be a gamma. But I know everything about the gammas, and you, my friend, will never be a gamma. It's all about focusing on your goals. Focus on your goals. That's it. Yeah, they would have asked me to do that too. It could have been that way. He ended up being a different guy. Not in this movie, but maybe like Cool Jimmy. When we did Cool Jimmy, that was a different guy. But he could have been in it too. The other thing they had me do was one of the oddest things I've been asked in a session, and you said, like, it's true. I think we did it all in about 5 days. I was also the extreme sports announcer. And I showed up, and I'm like, I can't really find many lines in this script. And they said, oh, no, we don't really have it. We just thought you just come up with some stuff and do it for us. And I literally started sweating buckets immediately. I was like, I don't talk extreme sports. What is a 360 pike down the and go? So we literally had to make it up on the fly. And they were writing a few things down, but it was like 3 hours later, I'm like, I don't know what I did, but who knows if it ended up in the movies. Yes, and it is Keith Jackson. Oh, yes, right on the college town of Alabama. We're talking extreme sports, and it's going to be great.
Awesome. Everyone, give a round of applause for our legend.